Hello. Hi, welcome to a painting tutorial for this SF Bay Area Pride painting. So just a quick overview of what the setup at a paint party would look like is everyone's got an easel. We don't have the cat, although I would like to bring him to every party. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so everyone's got an easel. They have a canvas, a plate of paint. Not too much paint, just about, quarter size or a little bit more of the primary colors. 2 brushes, one small, one big, and then also some napkins for drying their brush in between colors, and then lastly a water cup. So for this painting, I like to describe it as this kind of like dreamy, abstract painting. Obviously there's a lot of colors, and we also employ some cool techniques such as paint splattering and then also paint dripping. And so it's gonna be very fluid and very free form. We're gonna create a cityscape out of these different colors, basically by mixing the primary colors together to form a rainbow, to form like a kind of rainbow motif. And so for this painting, it requires a lot of water. So you'll always want to remind people that with every stroke, they'll want to dip their big brush into the water cup and mix it in with whatever color they're going to choose first. And then also they're going to need some more water to drip that paint. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing I do is I just tell people like we're gonna kind of mark where our first building is, and it doesn't really matter what color we choose, but for simplicity's sake, I kind of just put red on as my first color. So I have red, it's watered down, so you can see how kind of fluid the paint is, right? And then, and I describe the buildings as a series of just different geometric shapes. So rectangles, squares, triangles, you can even do like a trapezoid, just all kind of overlaid on top of each other. And so first building, we're gonna leave a little bit of space right here on the left for the Golden Gate Bridge. And then first building, we just wanna mark it somewhere along our middle with our big brush, and I'm just creating a rectangle. It doesn't really matter too much if it's perfectly straight, right? We can always fix it later. And then I wanna create another kind of fun, funky shape. So I have that done here. And then if we wanna drip it, we just could dip our brush in water and then kind of touch it to the paint. We don't quite have to drip it yet, but just giving you some of that knowledge. And then I try to be efficient with my paint, so I'm like, okay, we still have red, why don't we add another building somewhere over here maybe that uses that red. So maybe this one's gonna be a little bit shorter and it's gonna be almost like stair-shaped, like so. And then I also like to leave a little bit of room at the bottom to also transition to a different color. And so I have some red down. Like I said, I put this red in 2 spots just because I already have it on my brush and figured might as well use that paint since it's on the brush. But then when you switch colors, make sure you wash the brush and give it a nice thorough scrub in the cup, dry it. Actually, I guess you don't need to dry it too much because then you're just gonna mix it with your second color. And I think so red, you should know that like with colors, your color theory should be enough so that you don't advise people to mix colors that should not be mixed together, aka complementary colors that are opposite on the color wheel that when mixed together they make brown. So red, for example, the opposite color of it is green, which we don't really have green on our plate. If we just stick with the primary colors for now, then we can actually make a lot of cool colors. So I am now dipping my brush in yellow, and what happens when we mix yellow and red? Oh my goodness, it becomes a little bit of orange. So I'm actually just making that orange by putting the yellow directly on top of the red, and just kind of like stroking downward. It doesn't really matter, like I'm kind of just stroking it in long strokes that are kind of streaky. It doesn't really matter how people want to do it. They can kind of explore. I've seen people do like zigzags, I've seen them do long strokes, I've seen them also just kind of blend things. And so I'm adding some of that orange again. And then if you want it to be pure yellow, like if you wanted to transition the orange into the pure yellow, for example, then you definitely want to wash your brush so that the red that was on it before doesn't contaminate. And then now I have a clean brush, I have some yellow paint, and then I can kind of bring that yellow over here. Oops. Or I can bring it right here where it's a little bit more fresh and pure. Like so. And then again, I can kind of drip it if I so choose. Okay, so now let's start adding some other colors. So we have some yellow right here. With yellow, let's get to our green. So yellow plus blue is what makes green. So you can actually just take some, again, watery blue, and then you mix it in directly with the yellow, and it'll start to become green. But you can also just take regular blue, and yeah, you can take regular blue, you can mix some of it with the yellow, and then you can also keep some of the blue pure, since we want to have all colors here. And then for the skyline in San Francisco, you know, your buildings do not have to look exactly like the San Francisco skyline. You just want to have one building that's like very characteristic of SF, which in this case is the Transamerica building. So I'm just gonna do the Transamerica building in blue, and I kind of want it in pure blue, so I'm just gonna wash my brush. And then, yeah, so wash my brush, and then, so here's how we do the Transamerica building. It's pretty easy. First thing you want to do is just draw a very tall triangle, a very tall, skinny triangle, like so. And then we're going to overlay another triangle on top of it, but that triangle is going to be upside down, so the flat side of the triangle is going to point downward. You can use your big brush for this, or you can also tell people to use their small brush if it affords them more control. So basically you overlay this other triangle that goes down. Okay. And there you have it, Transamerica building. And people can always adjust if they need to, so you can bring this point up higher if they want that. There's the Transamerica building, and then like that Transamerica building becomes a little bit of green at the bottom. So I'm like adding back some more of that green. Yay, drips. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this blue into, I'm gonna bring this blue out a little bit so that it can meet with the red and become this lovely color purple. See? Yay! Colors! So the only thing I would warn people about with this is that you want to encourage them to try to paint these building colors generally following the order that the colors of the rainbow are. Because if you go out of order of the rainbow colors, then you might start accidentally mixing complementary colors together. So for example, blue and orange, those are complementary colors. If I were to drag this blue over to the orange over here, it would create the color brown, like so. And it just doesn't make a very nice color. So you just want to warn people about that. See, so now that I've done that, it's starting to look pretty ugly. Okay, so yeah, just generally guide people towards following the colors of the rainbow. Roy G. Biv, if people forget. Okay. And then, okay, so then if I want to bring, hold on.